The Holy Book Sefer Kav Hayashar, Episode 71. It is stated, and Kalev came to Hebron, Bamidbar 13.22. Rashi explains that Kalev went to pray at the tomb of the patriarchs, that he should be saved from the sin of the spies. Based on this incident, there has spread throughout Israel the worthy custom of visiting the grave of one's forebear on the anniversary of his death. And if one is not in the vicinity of the grave at the time of the yahrzeit, one should go to another Jewish cemetery to pray, for this causes all the souls in Gan Eden to be aroused, since the entire earth is a single unit. For the Holy One, blessed is He, had decreed for Israel's sake that the nefesh of a righteous person should remain near the cemetery. This is in order that they will hear the supplications of those who come to pray at the gravesite. Thus, whoever has a sorrow of any sort should go to the graves of his forebears or other righteous individuals and reveal his sorrow there. For when the nefesh hears the living pouring out their sorrows, it ascends to the Ruach in Gan Eden. Zohar, Part 2, 141b. Then the Ruach ascends to the chamber of Gan Eden, in which the holy neshamos dwell, and arouses them to come to the land of Israel to prostrate themselves before the throne of glory and pray on behalf of the living. However, if the neshama did not yet merit a place in the upper Gan Eden, but remains outside the holy partition, wandering back and forth, the Ruach and Nefesh are also condemned to wander to and fro. And every time they enter the grave and behold the body covered with worms, its mouth agape, swarming with worms, and the intestines filled with maggots and worms, then the neshama mourns over it, as it is stated, and his soul will mourn over him. Eov 14.22. But none of this is the case if the body was holy and pure. Then the disintegration of the flesh is affected by the soil alone, and it immediately turns to dust and ashes without enduring the agony caused by the worms and maggots. This is the reward of the body. As for the reward of the neshama, it immediately ascends to the upper Gan Eden, while the Ruach ascends to the lower Gan Eden. Every Shabbos in Rosh Chodesh, the Ruach ascends to the upper Gan Eden, where it receives the illumination and pure radiance of the neshama. With this, it descends to its place at the conclusion of the day. Afterwards, the nefesh ascends and receives some of that illumination and radiance that the Ruach brought with it from the neshama in the upper Gan Eden. Then the nefesh descends and enters the grave, where it takes the image of the body as it was when it was alive in this world. And through this, it clothes in a body precisely as it was when the person was alive. In this manner, the righteous stand upon their graves, uttering words of praise and acknowledgement to God. May His name be blessed for the lofty illumination of the neshama, their faces radiating with great luminance. At that time, they sing many songs and praises, precisely as they originally appeared, their bones knitted together and fleshed out like the actual body. If the living were allowed to perceive them, they would see them at the conclusion of every Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh, and Yom Tov in bodily form, standing upon their graves, reciting song and praises. This is the meaning of the verse. All my bones will declare, Hashem, who is like you? Tehillim 35.10. Note that is not stated that they say, but that they will say. This is an allusion to the reciting of songs and praises by the dead at the conclusion of every Shabbos, Yom Tov, and Rosh Chodesh. It has also been passed down to us through the writings and texts of earlier generations that even while a person is still alive, his neshama arouses his heart regarding the word of Hashem. You should know that whenever a good thought suddenly enters a person's heart, such as joy over or love of words of Torah or a commandment, it is a favorable time for prayer. The prayer that one utters at that time will immediately enter the palace of the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed is He. And if on occasion a person experience a moment or a period that his soul is filled with melancholy, it is very likely that some evil decree has been issued against him, heaven forbid, or upon a member of his family, or upon the entire world. In most cases, when decrees are issued, heralds are then dispatched to arouse people's hearts. For if a person's heart knows the bitterness of his soul, even if he does not hear anything with his ears. Therefore, if a person is slothful and fails to pray immediately, decree becomes a reality. For this reason, let him arouse himself to the best of his ability to pray with tears before the Holy One, blessed is He. This is elaborated upon in the Zohar Parshas Vayikra 15a. One day, Rab Shimon ben Yochai was sitting in the gate of Lod. He lifted his eyes and saw the sun shining. Then its light became blocked, after which it again shone and again was blocked, and again shone, and again was blocked. This recurred 3 times. Meanwhile, the light dimmed, and the sun became black and green. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said to his son, Rabbi Elazar, "Follow me and let us see what this means. Surely an evil decree has been issued, and the Holy One, blessed is He, desires to inform us of it. For whenever a decree is issued on high, it is suspended for 3 days until the Holy One, blessed is He, has informed the righteous. As it is stated, for Hashem, God does not do anything without revealing His secret to His servants, the prophets." Amos 3.7. While they were walking, they entered a certain vineyard. There they saw a snake approaching them with his mouth opened, moving eagerly over the ground and through the dust. Rab Shimon ben Yochai grabbed the head of the snake with his hands and noticed that it was muttering something with its tongue. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai addressed it. "Snake, go and tell the one who is called the supernal snake that Rab Shimon ben Yochai is in the world." He then inserted the head of the snake into a hole in the ground and said, "I decree by the divine name that just as the earthly snake has returned to a hole in the ground, so shall the supernal snake return to the hole of the great chasm." Afterwards, Rabbi Shimon and his son Rabbi Elazar prayed softly, and while they were praying, they heard a voice saying, "O heralds of the decrees, return to your places, for the gang of thugs is not to dwell in the world, because Rab Shimon ben Yochai has annulled the decree." Know further that even though we have no one in our generation on a par with Rab Shimon ben Yochai, who was able to annul evil decrees, nevertheless Hashem's mercies extend to every generation. Therefore, as soon as the decree is made on high, heaven spare us, emissaries are immediately dispatched to reveal it through the mouths of little boys and girls who prophesy without realizing it. The Holy One, blessed is He, also arouses the hearts of the upright and God-fearing to pray on behalf of their generation. This arousal comes to them from within. The moment some evil is stirred up, angels of judgment go about proclaiming it, and arrows of judgment are dispersed, bringing enfeeblement or some other ill effect into the world. May we be spared. At such times, a person should try to minimize the time he spends out of doors. For the Zohar warns in Parshas Noach 69a that when license has been granted to the destroyer, its angels have permission to strike those who are found walking about the streets and markets, heaven forbid. Therefore, one should pray to be delivered from all evil, as we have mentioned above. A person should also refrain from mentioning his name when praying, because this induces the heavenly court to take notice of him and examine his deeds, and accusers may be found to cause him harm, heaven forbid. The Zohar EP69b brings a proof to this from the prophet Elisha, said to the Shunamis. Elisha asked, "Do you have need to be spoken of to the king?" Malachim 2, 4.13. This refers to the Holy One, blessed is He, for the day was Rosh Hashanah, when the Holy One, blessed is He, is called the Holy King and the King of Judgment. And she said, "I dwell among my people. That is, I do not wish for you to mention my name, lest they examine me in particular. Rather, I dwell among my people." Come and see a proof to this, for all the while that divine wrath was in the world, Noach's name was not mentioned. But once the judgment was over, it is stated, "And God remembered Noach." That is only then that he brings Noach's name to mind. From here we learn that a person is judged on a balanced scale, and every good deed creates a defender, while every bad deed creates an accuser. Fortunate is the one who loves his soul more than his body, who treats this world as a secondary and the world to come as principal, and who has his eye on his end every day, recalling that the end of a human being is death. He will surely succeed through his Torah and good deeds in entering the world to come.